That's what it is. It's an essence of teamwork. I want y'all to hear that word, the key word being teamwork. And that's what we want to talk about today. Just briefly, we want to talk about this concept of teamwork. And once again, I deem this topic to be pertinent simply because of what I personally witnessed with my own eyes on this past Monday as it pertains to the march and the celebration that took place within this very sanctuary and of course downtown Franklin. And once again, for those that were not here, once again, I want you to know that First Missionary stood strong and mighty on that day. See, we stood as a united team on that day. Everyone was doing their part. Everyone was staying in their lane in order to create a successful space. It was a space that made it possible for this very sanctuary that we're sitting in today to be filled beyond capacity with people that represented a diverse community, with people that represented a difference of denominational beliefs, a people which came together in order to show the world, and especially the city of Franklin, that perhaps the dream of Dr. King, it's not dead, but yet it is very much alive. And you know what I was thinking about Monday and also thinking about today's text, it reminded me of this particular text here that was written by Paul, in which Paul described in poetic analogy the true essence of teamwork. And I believe that the apostle must have prophetically had First Missionary in mind when he so stated. This is what he says. He says, we're like a couple of gardeners. Some plant and some water. But neither one of us has anything to do with the mystery of life. You see, that's God's business. But then again, Paul goes on to remind the church that the one who plants and the one who waters, although both are doing two separate functions, but yet we're on the same team. So that's what we want to deal with today, because I want to reflect for just a few minutes the essence of teamwork and to reveal from within this text how we as a congregation of believers, how we can achieve success. Not necessarily through one person's efforts, not necessarily through one particular group's efforts, not necessarily through the efforts of the pastor, but through each of our efforts, through the effort of teamwork. Well, the first thing that we see in this text, and I want you to stay with me, is with teamwork we must continue to share the work. We have to share the work. The text says here, if you look at it, that we are laborers, what? Together with God. Each one of us called to a specific work. Each one of us called to use our specific gifts and God-given talents. And the amazing thing about it is, regardless to how gifted you are, regardless to how talented you are, but the fact is, amen, that none of us is able to accomplish the work without the other. See, it is like branches that's on a tree that depend upon each other for sustenance. And that we bloom only when we are connected.
Yes. Yes.
You know, this reminds me of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson being the young quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. A young man is quick to remind everyone of the goodness of God. A young man is attempting, as we speak, to win his second Super Bowl ring in 2 years. But then again, I want us to know that Russell Wilson would have never reached this level of success by himself. He would have never reached it without a team. He would have never reached this level of success without offensive linemen blocking for him. He would have never been able to win a Super Bowl ring without wide receivers catching the ball for him. In other words, when we combine our gifts, when we put them together and we share the work that God has given us, we have no choice but to win. We have no choice but to blossom. We have no choice but to increase. We have no choice to spiritually blow up. Boom. But I've discovered so many of us, we're not willing to share the work. An amazing thing about it is these are the very people that have gifts, God-given talents. You have key components that could possibly take us to the next level, but yet we refuse to share what God has so given us. Instead of us putting to use our gifts and our talents that God has given us, we have become comfortable watching others use and share their gifts. But then again, I want you to know that I'm not the author of one sharing their gifts. But God is the author. God is the author of teamwork. Amen. God, He showed teamwork in the beginning of creation when God said, it's not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper. It was Ruth who knew the value of teamwork when she said to Naomi, your people will be my people and your God will be my God. Amen. Solomon, he knew the value of teamwork when he told his son that iron sharpens iron and one man sharpens another. And likewise, when we share the work, we get better results. When we share the work, there is nothing that we can't do. When we share the work, beyond the sky is our limit. When we share the work, that's when God will take our team, FMBC, to the next level in God. When we share the work. Secondly, with teamwork, we share the responsibility. Look at your text. It says, ye are God's husbandry. Husbandry. And we discover in this text that husbandry is just a fancy name for farmer. In other words, what the text is saying is that we are God's farmers. And as farmers, we have the awesome responsibility of cultivating the earth with the powerful gospel message of Jesus Christ. And watch this, aimed at people inside of these walls, but also aimed at people outside of these very walls. I've often said that sheep beget sheep. In other words, we as Christian believers, we are charged with the awesome responsibility of sharing with our family members, sharing with our friends, sharing with our co-workers the God movement that's taking place here at FMBC, a church where everybody is somebody. But I discovered that many of us, we've lost sight of the responsibility. We've become so caught up with who's doing this and who's not doing that, that we've lost sight of our responsibilities. We've become so comfortable with the fact that Pastor, I've been here all of my life.